I haven't always trusted God. I haven't always trusted Him. See, I thought He was an exploiter. Yeah, I did. I thought God exploited the poor. I thought He was unjust. That's what I was thinking. I watched my mother struggle to raise 10 kids after my father died. And I watched her go to church, pay her tithes and offerings. But when she got old, I didn't feel like God gave back. So I had issues with that. Seems like it's always poor folk giving their last to God. Yeah. My thinking was He was an exploiter of the poor. You know, we want something. We in need of something. I just didn't feel like He was giving back. That was my thinking at the time. But it came a time in my life that I realized that it wasn't God. God wasn't. He wasn't at fault. But I didn't know. See, I couldn't read and write. So I had to only take the word of what folk was saying. But when I was able to read for myself, and I asked God the same question. I asked Him, why did He need the poor people money? Why you need poor folk money? Why you need folks in my neighborhood? They ain't got nothing. Why you need their money? You say the gold and the silver is yours. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. You said all that is. He said it was His. And I asked Him, I say, why you need folk like my mama money? He said that there might be meat in my storehouse. I said, well, there wasn't none when my mother needed it. She put in to the storehouse, Lord. She put into your storehouse. But when she was in need, there wasn't nothing there. Somebody stole it. Yeah, I came to that conclusion later on, that somebody was stealing meat from the storehouse. And that's why when my mama got old, there wasn't nothing there for her to eat. Something like Social Security. If you pay in all your life, then when you get old, there should be something there for you to get back. And I think they took that from God. Now, I understand why the Social Security system ain't going to run out of money. I understand, because that's man. And we have a tendency to not want to do right. But in God's house, when you pay into God's Social Security, and you get old and you still can't get nothing back, because somebody's stealing. Somebody making bad investments. So I had issues with God, but I didn't understand that there was bad investments going on. I didn't understand that. All I know is that my mom paid in and she didn't get nothing back. But when I began to read, for myself, man, I had issues with God. But He caught me at the right time. I was in the detention center waiting to go to Holmesburg in Philadelphia. Just got locked up. Couldn't read and write. I couldn't even contact nobody. Police just gave me a Rodney King beating. And a brother came up to me in the detention center while I was waiting to be transferred and says, man, do you know Jesus? But it was at the right time. But there were certain times he caught me. I told him where he could take his Jesus. Just didn't want to hear anything about Jesus. But at that right moment, he approached me the right way. I needed a friend. And he sat down and told me his story about Jesus. And for some reason I wasn't thinking about all the reasons I didn't want to serve him. I wasn't thinking about that while I was angry with God. I wasn't even thinking about that. But at that moment I just needed a friend. Shit. And he sat down and he told me about Jesus and what Jesus had done for him. Well, I got down on my knees that night. Detention center was so full they had rec rooms up top. They opened up the rec rooms and put bunks up there, and they started storing us niggas up there, packing us in. And I got down on my knees in front of a packed house that night, beside my bunk. And I remember what I said. I said, Lord, if you put your word in me, I'll speak it. And if you send me, I'll go. That's what I said. All I can tell you is that I've been, since that night, I began to see things different. I began to see things different. You know, what y'all ought to do is y'all ought to tell Oprah to come and get me. Get me out this cell. Put me on Oprah. Put me on Oprah so I can tell my story to the world. I don't need nobody to protest. I just want folk to care. I don't care about something other than yourself, somebody other than yourself. Consider somebody else's plight. Take a moment to do something for somebody else. Well, I'm trying my best to put food in the storehouse. I'm not like I used to be. No, I'm not like I used to be. I used to be a liability. See, this is where I was supposed to be. Right here. Right place and right time. Before I met Jesus, I was a monster. That's the best way I can explain it. The judge said I was a menace to society.